Expressing a yoga pose requires a good foundation. You take the time to establish a solid yet flexible stance. You feel your feet in contact with the mat. Sink your energy into the earth below. You align your ankles and arches. Spread your toes. The bones of your feet come alive. The joints between them elastic in their ligaments. And from here you lift in Tadasana, mountain pose. Or span the mat in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog pose. Then when the class is over, into what kind of shoes do you place your feet? You have 28 bones in your feet, held together by an intricate architecture of ligaments powered by a complex set of muscles. 3 arches form a lifted triangle, which serves as the element of spring for your feet. You are naturally wider at the toes and function best when they are evenly in contact with the ground. So why do we place our feet in these? Most of the shoes that we wear are not fit for our feet. They lift our heels, throwing off the balance of our 3 arches. They compress our toes, interfering with their function in our stance. They rob our ligaments of their job, weakening them and setting up the conditions for sprained ankles, and they cause blisters, bunions, corns, and calluses. But there is an alternative to ill-suited shoes, a solution to woeful feet. That solution is barefoot shoes. Hi, I'm Annie with Forest of Arden Healing Arts, and in this video series, we are going to be talking about barefoot shoes. If you like this video and you would like more content about health practices, yoga, tai chi, and massage, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button. Modern shoes are not fit for purpose, and there are at least 2 reasons why this development has occurred: fashion and an incorrect orthopedic paradigm. Footwear fashion tries to alter the unfashionable appearance of the human foot and make it conform to the aesthetic of the time. You've probably heard of foot binding, the practice of breaking women's feet and binding them into deformed and pointed stumps. It is said to have originated in the 10th century China. This was the fashion then. And the modern practice of wearing pointed high-heeled shoes is not so far removed from foot binding. Fortunately, shoe fashion trends have moved away from high heels and tightly pointed shoes, but foot fashion still has a long way to go before it leaves behind its shame of the natural width of the human foot. Most shoes still compress the toes, and the more fashionable they are, the more they compress. And this is true even as specialty sports shoes. Take, for example, these kung fu shoes. Now, martial arts require a solid foot stance, and yet Tiger has made these shoes that just obliterate the transverse arch, thereby throwing the user off balance. Or take running shoes. Almost every single traditional running shoe on the market is not fit for purpose because the toe box is too narrow. But surely some footwear companies have done their research and designed shoes that are healthy for the feet, right? Well, they did do their research, but unfortunately the research is remarkably wrong. You see, they are using the wrong orthopedic paradigm. They think that the body needs external support to avoid injury. So they make very supportive shoes with arches and heel counters and high top lacing. Now, running shoe companies are even making shoes with big puffy clouds for soles. They think that if they can prevent the foot from ever contacting the ground, that they won't get injured. But this is the opposite of the truth. The human foot does not need external support. It needs freedom and exercise. It needs a shoe that allows it to use its natural functioning features, such as springy arches, wide toe splay, and a lever system integrated with the rest of the joints of the body. And freedom can only come from walking barefoot or using barefoot shoes. And obviously, one should try walking barefoot whenever possible. But sometimes one needs a shoe, and there are 4 criteria for a barefoot shoe. And those are a wide toe box, 0 drop, ground feel, and flexible sole. So a wide toe box. You want to make sure that the toe box of your shoe is wide enough for your foot width at the ball and including the toes. Some people even like to make sure that there's enough width in the toe box to accommodate toe splay. 0 drop. You want to make sure that the heel is not lifted in your shoe at all. No lift, so that the heel is always on the same level as the rest of the foot. That's what 0 drop is. Ground feel. Can your shoe accommodate the translation of sensory information from the earth and the ground and the floor that you're walking on to the nerve endings in your feet, and that can then be sent up to your brain? Can the articulating bones in your foot move and work, sometimes independently, sometimes in groups, to navigate over rocky surfaces or curbs, flat concrete, or tree roots? Number 4, does your shoe have a flexible sole? And that is going to accommodate your foot being able to fully roll through the full range of motion, activating the springiness and the arch, activating all of the energy that the ligaments and tendons need in order for the springing action of walking and running. Now, in the next part of this series, we are going to discuss how to transition to barefoot shoes.